Welcome to Alexploitation. I'm your host, Alex Arson, and today we're talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3, Dream Warriors from 1987. This is directed by Chuck Russell, which is his directorial debut, written by Wes Craven, Bruce Wagner, and Frank Darabont, which is also his first writing credit. This is the third Nightmare film that's highest grossing of the franchise. The first would be Freddy vs. Jason. The second would be Part 4, The Dream Master. And then this one would be The Dream Warriors. This was starring Heather Langenkamp returning as Nancy Thompson from the first one, Robin Englund, of course, as Freddy Krueger, and Patricia Arquette in her debut. Dream Warriors is about a psychiatrist that's familiar with the gloved dream demon, Freddy Krueger, who's been invading the dreams of the kids, the teenagers that is at a local Springwood, Ohio psychiatric ward in the Weston Hills. The puppet was made by special effects artist Doug Bestwick, and it was done with special stop motion animation. The clay face was made to be plain and more plain and plainer each frame, so the result was basically done backwards. So it started off with Freddy's face like that, and then each shot will become more plain and more plain, so it looks like paper mache and things like that. Shout out to Doug Bestwick for doing amazing puppetry and amazing stop motion animation for that scene.
Kristen! Is that you?
Bone Terror. Look familiar.
Okay, asshole. Let's dance.
Why should we fight? We're old friends, you and I. Remember?
Let's get high.
Jennifer Rubin, who plays Taryn, who's beautiful and bad, as she says in the movie. She plays a drug addict in this movie, and she would later tell us that a lot of her fans of this movie, she she was the inspiration for a lot of them to become clean and to kick their habit and things like that. Like, she's very proud of the fact that a lot of people will come up to her and tell her that this was something that inspired them to become sober. And she would also go on to play in a movie that deals with a dream demon as well. So not just with Nightmare on Elm Street, but it was also a movie where what was it called? It was called Bad Dreams, which was similar to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Yeah, this movie was the first time that Freddy would use the victim's weaknesses against them. So knowing what you're afraid of, knowing what you're battling and what you're facing and what your problems are, this was the movie where he definitely used that against you. Welcome to Prime Time, bitch. Knowing that that girl wanted to be a movie star or an actress, he definitely used the TV to attack her in the worst way. And you can say a little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, but this one was played up in such a way where it definitely became a popular thing from that point on. Knowing what your weaknesses were and using it against you. I think Dream Warriors was the first time it was done so effectively for every single different person that was a victim. Every victim had their weaknesses used against them, and it became a reoccurring method in every single Nightmare film after this.
You look tired. Have a seat.
No thanks. I'm fine just the way I am.
For now, maybe. But when you wake up, it's back in the saddle again. For you, kid.
I am the Wizard Master. I am the Wizard Master. In the name of Lorik, Prince of Elves, demon be gone!
I'm sorry, kid. I don't believe in fairy tales.
And Ira Hayden, who plays Will, was a actual Dungeons and Dragons dragon master back in high school. So that's what gave him the confidence to even audition and to actually get the role. He actually played Dungeons and Dragons and was so good at it that he knew that he can get this role. And after shooting, he would go along with Jennifer Rubin, who plays Taryn. They would go out for lunch, and of course, he still has the cape and everything, and Taryn has the mohawk and the cool bodysuit and everything. And they would go out to lunch, and everyone would look at them as if they were aliens from another planet. And I just think that that was pretty awesome to see, that you have this wizard master and you have this badass punk rock girl going out for lunch back in like 1987, and everyone's looking at them as if they have two heads or something. I just think that's incredibly badass at the time. So what we do in Alexploitation, we talk about metal and horror. So with this being a horror film, there's a metal soundtrack. And on this soundtrack, we have two songs by Dokken: Into the Fire and the classic Dream Warriors. not only was Dawkins' song Dream Warriors on MTV and on the charts, it was also at the end of the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors VHS. And at the end of the music video, Freddy wakes up from this dream after being defeated by Doc, and he asks, "Who were those guys?" They basically said it several times in the video. They are the Dream Warriors.
I'm Dokken.
And I'm Jeff Pilson.
And we've got a new song. In fact, it's the title track to Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
It's called Dream Warriors, and Freddy said if we came by, he'd play it for us.
But as you can see, he's not around. So let's do a few commercials and see if we can find where he hid the video. Hi.
Clear.
So my final thought is, this is probably peak Nightmare on Elm Street. This is probably the most Freddy Krueger movie of all. Everyone has their personal favorites, but I feel like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, I feel like that is Freddy in top form. I feel like he was still scary, but yet had a little bit of the punchline here and there. I feel like it was the right blend of horror and humor and special effects, visual effects. You really actually cared about these kids. After the Dream Warriors, you don't really care too much about them. They're just there to basically be picked off one by one. But I feel like Dream Warriors was like the last time you actually cared about, the teenagers and wanting them to overcome the situation. And with them having dream powers, which is why they're the Dream Warriors, they have individual dream powers that they're able to use to take down Freddy Krueger because he's much more powerful. So they work together as a team. And I just feel like all of them have this vulnerability, this sensitivity, but yet they have this strength that makes them so unique that I feel like you really root for them and you really cheer for them and you really want them to survive and make it. And so I feel like this is probably one of the greatest examples of a sequel that holds up with the original. I feel like you can put this one on right after watching the first one. I feel like it's probably one of the best. And it also brings back Wes Craven. Wes Craven came back to write for this one. He wasn't a part of A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. He came back for Part 3. And so I think that's also why Part 3 is interesting and just as fun and just as entertaining as the first one. Wes Craven's behind it in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, if you never watched this one, you definitely should check this one out. It's really great special effects, really great characters, really great Freddy one-liners, and just Freddy really coming into his own right here. This was the one that made Freddy Krueger a household name right here. And you already knew because Freddy became a household name thanks to MTV as well. He was basically a rock star around this time. He was in music videos with Dokken. He was making rap songs with the Fat Boys. And, he was everywhere. He had costumes. He had action figures. He had a 1-800 hotline. He was everywhere doing everything. This was Freddy Mania, if you will, at this particular point in time. So this is the heyday of what Freddy Krueger was for horror. And with the classic song by Dokken, it really just took him over the top. So if you haven't seen Dream Warriors, you definitely should check this one out. Thanks for watching and subscribe.
Smell this glove. Right now, it's Los Lobos with the case of those shaken shakes. 8, 9, 10, Ollie Ollie oxen free.